Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, friends. I see staff members out there. I see family members, and hopefully we see some students in there too. Welcome to our first SAC meeting for the 21-22 school year. We greatly appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us on a Wednesday night. Essentially, this is not a lecture. We want to have a conversation with you. We want to hear some feedback from you, but also provide some updates about some things that have been going on campus, just so you are in the loop. And that is essential. Communication is so essential during these challenging times, and we just wanted to, get everybody here tonight, explain how things are going for the first quarter, and also kind of think about this school year and some of the school goals for our students and staff. So I'll jump right in. Ms. Gordon, did you want to speak briefly as well, or will your comments just be towards the end?
I'll wait till the end. Is good.
Okay, excellent.
You're on a roll.
All right, I am on a roll. Great. So 2021, what a great school year. So proud of not only our students, our staff, but also our families. We, as a school community, are really going above and beyond to create and maintain a positive, safe, and learning environment for all of our student leaders. Just a few details about us this school year. We are projected to be at 670 students. Currently today, we are at 665 students. And through COVID, as you know, families may be making different choices for them, whether it's homeschooling or moving out of town or things of that nature. When a student leaves campus, we go straight to our waiting list and we start adding students from our waiting list. So we are currently at 665, but that number continues to move. Our goal is to be at 670. All right, we are at this year 72 staff members, give or take. We share some staff members with the elementary school, but about 72 staff members. So we are currently in year 5 as a free public charter school in Manatee County. In year 1, 5 years ago, we started off with 300 students and about 18 staff members. So we've evolved and we've grown a lot over the past 5 years. We've learned a lot, but I still ask our students, our staff members, and I try to model this myself, just get an inch better every day. We're a continuous improvement learning environment. We want to get better and grow both academically and socially on campus. And we're proud of our students for doing that during first quarter. We are less than 2 weeks until the end of first quarter. So it's been a challenge. This year and last year, we are doing our very best to create clear systems for students and expectations so they know exactly how to have access to their learning, whether they are on campus or off campus for something that is out of their control. And I know that is something that is been one of the major challenges of this school year is, whether your child needs to quarantine based on a direct exposure, or hopefully they haven't fallen ill themselves due to COVID. And of course, with our protocols, we want students at home if they are not feeling well. And we have created a system of learning through Google Classroom, where all of our students will have access to all of their assignments, and there's instruction via Google Classroom. So we asked our teachers before school year even started, we always try to be proactive and kind of think about the needs of our students and families before they happen. But we decided to record our instruction. So our teachers are posting at least a minimum of 2 lessons per week. And they're recording those 5 to 12-minute lessons on that content that needs to be learned that week. So a student, whether they're in class or outside of class, will be able to have access to that instruction. They can pause it, They can rewind it if they're like me, where during my notes, I'm continuously pausing, writing, rewinding and going back and reviewing that. And that is a great resource for all students. Students who are struggling learners, our ELL students who speak another language. This is an accommodation that helps all students having access to that recorded lesson. So that's something that Rowlett Middle is doing that a lot of other schools don't have the capabilities of doing. One, because we are one-to-one, we really fought hard to make sure every student has access to an iPad, and that kind of levels the playing field with access to learning from home. So those students, if sick, if just on quarantine, they still have access to all the lessons that are supposed to be completed that week, and also that video instruction. So we're happy about that. We do understand that. Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but it's also, I just want to go back to the videos. They're also really helpful for parents who are trying to help your kids with something like, I don't know, algebra that we haven't done since we were in 8th or 9th grade. So I've been, as a parent, been using those videos to help the kids review and prepare for assessments and things like that.
Thank you. That's huge because, I'm the principal and I don't understand a lot of this stuff, right? So those videos are a great resource for families, mine included. Because we know that there's a lot going on for our students that is out of their control, we want to just continue to meet them where they are. So this year, we have implemented far more tutoring opportunities than we have in the past. And we're paying our exceptional educators that time to be there. So in the past, we mainly had tutoring for math. That typically is the class that most students need support in. Well, we know our kids need support in all core subjects. So now each of our core subjects are offering tutoring in the afternoon. You may have noticed that there were less enrichment offerings than in years past. That may be because a lot of those teachers are offering tutoring. Yes, some kids are in tutoring because they really don't understand and they need help. Some of it is kids do understand and they want to stay ahead of the game, and various reasons why students are using tutoring. But I appreciate our teachers for providing that resource. If your child is struggling with a concept or just in general, reach out to your teacher. There is tutoring availability, and we can figure that out. Okay. As we go towards the end of the quarter, there are a few things that are coming up, one of which being conference night. So after report cards come out, which next Friday is record day, that's the day that our teachers have to have all their grades final by 4 o'clock. We will contact all of our families of students that have an F. And we want to make sure we have a mini conference with those families so we can, as a team, the school and the parent and the student, come up with a game plan for success for second quarter. So we have these meetings because we really want to work as a team to figure out what steps, what support that student needs and what support the family needs as well to help their child continue to make progress throughout the school year. So that's conference night. More information about that will be coming. Honor roll. So last year, due to COVID, we didn't have our traditional celebration of honor roll. We really at Rowlett Middle like to celebrate students for meeting expectations, those academic expectations, but also their behavior expectations. So honor roll, we celebrate our 4.0 students, and we'll be celebrating those students this year. And we also celebrate our students that are 3.5 and up. So what we'll be doing, instead of in the cafeteria, having all of our students there, we usually bring them up, we shake hands, we say everybody's name, but for COVID and to make sure that we can make sure we're saying everybody's name, make sure we're getting it recorded, families will be able to have access to it. We are going to do it through our live TV studio. We have a new TV studio courtesy of Weber Scenic, and we'll be recording our honor roll ceremonies through the studio, and it'll be a certain time frame for 6th grade, a certain time frame for 7th grade, and a certain for 8th, and it'll be shared with families, so you'll have access to that as well. Something new, we're having to be creative, think outside the box in the age of COVID. And we're continuously trying to do that in other areas around campus as well. So more information about that will be coming. Hopefully we'll see your child in honor roll. And if not first quarter, the goal is second quarter. And we have a lot of things that we can do to help support, like tutoring. You hear me say that a lot. We want to provide our students with multiple opportunities for success. Last thing regarding end of the quarter is field day. Like honor roll, we want to celebrate our kids for meeting that expectation. We like to celebrate our kids for meeting the behavior expectation. So students that were not given a referral during first quarter, students who do not have a failure or an F. Am I missing one more thing? I think that's it. Or students that don't have a 3 in conduct. A 3 in conduct pretty much means that a lot of misbehavior in class, a lot of redirection. So if none of those things have taken place, then the student will be able to go out for field day. We have parent volunteers that come out and help us set up games, whether it's Foursquare, hula hoop, kickball, basketball, a lot of different fun activities. Kids just like to go out and have fun. They're middle schoolers, but they're still kids. So they like to run around, eat popsicles, and just be silly. And our staff is kind of like middle schoolers as well. We like to be out there with them. Or maybe I'm just speaking for myself. I like to be out there with them as well. So that's some of the end of the quarter activities that we'll be having just to celebrate our students that are going above and beyond and doing their best, and trying to encourage students to continue to improve. And if we don't see them at honor roll or field day or first quarter, the expectation is second quarter. We hope to see them there. All right, Ms. Erickson, did I miss anything with those three?
Nope, I think you're pretty spot on, but
right.
I will agree that field day is just as much fun for our staff really as it is for our students.
Yeah, and I think these days we need more of that. We need, we really try to provide this fun and engaging learning environment for our kids because we know some of the stressors of everything that we're dealing with in society. We know this needs to be a safe place. School needs to be a safe place and a fun place for them that they want to be. And I think we've accomplished that. Our kids are so upset when they're on quarantine. Whereas when I was in middle school, I'm not sure I would have been so upset. But they want to be on campus. They really do. And that's because of our awesome teachers. All right. So we're asking those awesome teachers to be fair and understanding with their students and just to meet them where they are. And that means whether they're on campus or whether they're off campus. And I'm really asking our teachers to be warm demanders. And that's a term that I've been using here recently. It came into my purview last year when teachers were really trying to figure out how to balance, making sure you have a trustful, respectful relationship with students while also, having some high expectations. And so students will work for you if they trust you. If you have that positive relationship, they will run through walls for you. So we're asking our teachers to be warm demanders, be warm, be kind, build those relationships, but push our students. And every student, we have to differentiate that because they're all at different places. So it's what we're asking our teachers to do. We're asking our students to be the leader on campus. Don't wait for somebody else to lead. You lead by example and be the leader. We're asking them to do that with their academics. That means being in the class every day, being on time, turning in every assignment, and asking for help when you need it. We're asking them to be the leader with their behavior. That means making good choices, treating others the way they want to be treated, and just being kind, right? And we're asking them to be leaders with their health. Staying home when they're sick, socially distancing when possible. If a student isn't opt out, making sure that they're wearing their mask appropriately over their nose and mouth, just, being a leader with their health. And that's really what we're charging our students with. And if our staff is being warm demanders and our students are being the leader in those three areas, I think that will equal a successful school year. A few events towards that we have going on. We're so excited this year. It seems like we're more open. I'm seeing more faces. I'm seeing more kids on campus. Now we have all kids on campus. Last year, it was very fractured. So I kind of felt like I didn't know kids like I should. But we're excited to have kids on campus this year. We're excited that we'll have performances in the arts. So we're planning a dance performance inside, and that'll be for our dancers at the end of October. Our other arts performances at this time, we're planning to have outside. So I know orchestra and band are planning on performing outside, which is a little better in regards to COVID protocols and safety. So tutoring, I already talked to you about that. Enrichment, this week we started enrichment for our new families. Enrichment is free to our students. Essentially, we try to provide opportunities for our students after school for things that maybe they would not have an opportunity to partake in anywhere else. And we provide that for free. We pay our teachers their hourly rate, and we just ask them to offer cool things that they enjoy, that students would enjoy. So I'm offering a game room enrichment. We have a mindfulness enrichment. We have a lot of tutoring. We have just some other type of enrichments, arts enrichments, band. So if a student doesn't have a band or art selected, they can maybe do that after school. And so we just want to make sure kids are engaged and having fun, and we need them to be doing that after school too. So enrichment is taking place, National Junior Honor Society. We have our sports. Currently, we're doing flag football and volleyball. Flag football and cross country are coming up. We have a peer mediation program, which is where we have students that have been selected across campus that we bring in if there's a student conflict to, middle school students, which it happens pretty often. Middle school students, they're friends one day, the next day they're not. Well, we have student mediators that we can call in from class. Mr. Flynn will be doing a training with our guidance counselors with these mediators, and we bring them in to help resolve these issues. A lot of times, students listen to their peers a lot more than some old guy like me. All right, and student council is also something that we're doing. Each iLead class voted and selected a representative from their iLead that can represent them for the school. So that student council, they'll be helping us lead on campus, and we're excited about that. We want to create multiple opportunities for student leadership on campus. Just a few more of these updates, and then I promise if you have questions, please stop me and I can elaborate on any of them. Referendum vote. This is something that there's a referendum vote that will be coming up on November 2nd. And the referendum vote is going towards supporting educators. And it's been a few years since the last vote in our county, and it was narrowly passed. So I, as an employee of the school and the school board, I am not telling people how to vote, right? All we're just asking is for you to, do your civic duty and go out and vote. And we appreciate that. You to go out and use your voice to vote for this. And we'll be sending out information routinely about this vote, so you can see how the funds that were raised in our county through this vote has gone to support all county schools, but more specifically Rowlett and Rowlett Middle Academy. So we use these funds to provide an additional 30 minutes of teaching time for our kids. It enabled us to provide a bonus for our staff, and it gives us the ability to really have a competitive salary scale, so we can continue to attract the best and the brightest staff members across our county. And I'm a little biased, but I think we do have the best and the brightest staff in the county. Probably 90% of them used to be teachers in the county. And that's why I'm a wanted man around county, because all of our awesome teachers have come from county schools. Okay. And visitors on campus. We are so excited this week to have visitors on campus for lunch with their student. A little different than in past years, where your student would be able to invite a friend to come to lunch. Just because of COVID protocols and contact tracing, things of that nature, we'll only allow you to have lunch with your child. But that's still pretty awesome. You can still bring lunch. There are picnic tables around campus that you'd be able to have a nice quiet lunch and be able to catch up with your student leader. And lastly, COVID updates. We haven't changed our COVID protocols since last week. I know there's always a lot of updates, but the last update was the new communication from our governor and Surgeon General regarding our parents having the option of quarantining their child if they've been contacted for due to a direct exposure. So if we as a school have determined that your child was either in the vicinity of a student who was positive for over 15 minutes, we'll call you, or we'll notify you that your child was directly exposed to someone who was positive. You then have the option, if your child is asymptomatic, meaning they're not exhibiting any symptoms, you have the option to keep your child home for up to 7 days, and then bring them back into school after that 7 day or any time before that, they're not exhibiting any symptoms. Or you have the option to send them to school after you've been contacted, and just we ask that you continue to monitor their health, and if they start showing symptoms, you of course keep them home so we can make sure not only they are healthy and safe, but other students on campus are as well. Did I miss anything on that one, Miss Erickson? Okay.
Nope, you're spot on, Mr. Clark.
Can I few other topics on the agenda? I feel like I'm rambling. If there are any questions, please either put them in the chat or shout them out. Yes, ma'am, Ms. Weber.
Sorry, I have 2 quick questions.
Yeah.
One, if I can circle back to the tutoring thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that something that they can join at any time if they begin to struggle, or was there like a sign up period?
To my understanding, it's any time. Now, there are, if there's availability in a class, because there's a schedule, and I think it may be by week. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Erickson.
They usually do 3 weeks at a time. Yeah,
3
like
weeks
a
at a
sign up
time.
genius that has like 3 weeks at a time. So if there's space available, you can hop on. I believe the link was shared 2 weeks ago on Bloom's for tutoring.
Yeah, I'm going to look for it and put it in the chat now as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
And then every 3 weeks or 4 weeks or so, they'll put out a new sign up. And you can pick and choose one day, multiple days. You can do a Tuesday morning 1 week and a Thursday afternoon the next week. There's a lot of flexibility and very little commitment, other than we just ask if you do want to cancel, if you can just have your, reach out to the teacher, reach out to the facilitator to let them know, and they can get your spot filled.
And then my other question is about the quarantine opt-out.
Yes, ma'am.
So if it's still like a 5 to 7 day quarantine period, and let's say my child is exposed and I keep him home for precaution for like 2 or 3 days, does he have to get tested before he can come back? If he remains asymptomatic and after 2 days, I'm like, all right, cool, you're fine, can I just send him then?
Based on the updated emergency order, yes, you can. It does not require a test prior to sending your child back in, as long as they're asymptomatic, right? As long as they're not exhibiting any symptoms.
So is testing required at all anymore?
Testing is required for folks that test positive in order to be able to come back. There used to be a 10-day time frame that folks were required to stay out if they tested positive, and that has also changed. And it's actually not one of the more recent changes that was made. But this year so far, it has been the protocol that if someone tests positive, they can return to campus at any time after they test negative.
Okay, so but we don't have to test them anymore if we don't
Correct.
they're symptomatic.
Correct.
Yes, ma'am.
That is correct.
That is correct. And that was, based on last week, and we're still, unpacking how that actually looks on our campuses. And if there are any, changes or things of that nature, we'll make sure we communicate that with families. And our nurses, they're our surgeon generals. We just cannot do it without Ms. Julie and Ms. Sina, and they're always available. So you can reach out to them with any questions. There's no such thing as a silly question. We would rather be safe than sorry. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Just stop us as we keep going. So I'm going to go down to the next topic on the agenda, communication, parent communication. And we really found out, we're, you know, arts and communication schools, so we know it's important. But in the age of COVID, effective communication with parents is essential. And that's really why we want to have these positive relationships with our families, and we want to have multiple ways that you can contact us. So one of the biggest things that we ask our parents to do is download the Blooms app. A lot of important information, school-wide information is coming out from Ms. Levy, or from, I post on there sometimes as well on that app. So we ask that you download the app and then review it periodically. So there's some information that you'll find on there. Also, your child's teachers will also be using that app for updates and communication. So that's Blooms. Any questions about Blooms? You need support, we are here to support you. You can reach out to Ms. Levy and she'll be able to help you get connected or answer any of those questions. You can also call us, old school, right? You can call the front office. You can call the teacher's classroom and leave a voicemail there. You can also call with Google Voice. So that's something new that we added this year. Some of our teachers used Google Voice in the past, but now they have school assigned Google Voice numbers. So you might receive texts that way, but you can also text the teacher via Google Voice, and they can also call you. So you know, that is an additional way that you can reach out, and teachers can stay connected with their students that may be out for quarantine or with families. Okay, and you can leave voicemails as well. Or you can also email. Email is also an awesome way to reach out to our teachers, and they'll get back with you in a respectable amount of time. All right. Any questions about communication, Ms. Levy or Ms. Erickson, or anybody else? Did I leave anything out regarding communication? Okay. All right. School systems and expectations. So there are a couple of you know, programs or systems in place that just wanted to provide some information to you about. Hero is one of those systems that we have on campus. Hero is used for both positive behavior and when we need to redirect negative behavior. We have a school economy on campus, and students can earn hero points for just making good choices, meeting expectations in class, maybe raising a hand, or we give students hero points each week for just being organized with their agenda. If somebody opens the door for Ms. Erickson that she's walking through with both hands full, just doing those things, showing leadership, just doing the right thing even when nobody's watching, as Mr. Flynn would say. So we have a school economy where students can earn these points and then cash them in for things that students would enjoy on campus, like lunch with friends. Students are able to choose 3 friends to go outside and eat on the picnic tables with for lunch, and they can use hero points for that. Game room. We have a game room with an Xbox, a Nintendo Switch. We were donated a ping pong table, which is a hit this year from our staff member at the elementary school. We have a foosball table, just, you know, puzzles, Uno, just a lot of fun games that kids can relax during lunch and have some fun with friends. Or what's another thing that that they can use their hero point, or the school store, which is awesome. And we started that last year. It's awesome because students can get things that they need just to be successful at school, but we also had food or snacks. And we had some students using points to buy food that they were eating after school or maybe on the weekend. So we're really excited about offering that school store, and they can use those points to purchase things at the school store. And so we're really excited about that. So ask your students about their points, what are they earning, what are they spending them on? Chances are it's on lunch with friends. That's all they want to do is hang out with some of their friends at lunch. So that's a big winner. Another school system, our OWLS expectations. You may hear us talk about that. OWLS is an acronym for observing safety rules, working hard and smart, leading by example, and showing respect. And these expectations are all around campus. They're in every class. They're in the cafeteria and the media center. We want students to know what those expectations are, no matter where they are on campus. So that is expectation, and also our 7 habits. Of course, we are a 7 habit school. Through iLead, we really infuse a lot of 7 habits, language, and lessons, but also throughout the school day. So that's a system and something that is very integral to our school and our success, if you ask me. One thing that we've done in regards to grading during the quarter is we want to provide some flexibility with students. We know during COVID times, there are things that come up. So we are allowing students to turn in late assignments up until the unit assessment. This came about last year. We want to provide some grace to students up until a certain time. So after a unit assessment has come out and students have been tested on this content, we feel that giving a student the opportunity to turn things in after that time may not be in the best interest of us all. So, for the most part, we are not accepting assignments after that unit assessment. And that's been pretty good. Students pretty much know they need to meet deadlines, but they have some time in case something came up. They can still ensure that they can get their assignments in. Anything to add with those late assignments, Ms. Erickson?
If you notice a letter S in for one of your students' assignments, that's what we call a soft 0. And that's kind of a placeholder to remind the student that, hey, this assignment was due and you did not turn it in. But the soft 0 means that it can be turned in after the due date, basically. So if you see an S, hopefully your students have been able to explain that to you, but an S is a soft 0. Instead of putting a 0 in, which would immediately kind of tank a student's grade, we want to provide them grace and flexibility, as Mr. Clark was saying. So we use the soft 0s until the assessment. And in extenuating circumstances, of course, our teachers are going to work with your kids to make sure that they are as successful as they can possibly be. This is not a punitive situation, and we know that there have been a lot of absences. So our teachers are going to be flexible, but don't be concerned if you see an S. An S is a soft 0, or an NG means no grade, which means basically the teacher has not had an opportunity to grade the assignment yet. So don't be alarmed with an S or an NG if you see those in focus. That just means that those are works in progress.
Right. Thanks for bringing that up. That S is a big one, and I forgot about that. If you see that S in focus, it can be made up. So that's good, and we want students to see that. So, and students are checking focus all the time. We really want to focus on personal responsibility. These kids will be in high school soon, and I know sometimes a lot of the things that we're doing, students feel they get a little overwhelmed, and it may be some requirements they're not used to. But by the time they get to high school, they're ready to face anything that comes to them, no matter which high school they go to. All right. And last but not least, school starts at 8:15 and ends at 3:15. We allow parents to start dropping off on campus at 7:45. So please don't drop off prior to 7:45 because we open the gates at that time. We have some of our paraprofessionals who come in a little early to be able to start receiving our families at 7:45. We highly recommend all students eat breakfast. It's free. Breakfast and lunch is our cafeteria staff worked hard to make breakfast and lunch free to all students. And even if a student brings their lunch in or they had breakfast already, they're a growing middle school student. So there's breakfast or lunch available for them, and it's delicious. Trust me, I eat in the cafeteria every day. And
there's a wide variety of things to choose from. It's not just hot foods. There are also yogurt parfaits, smoothies, salads. There's salads every single day. They have a lot of healthy, not healthy alternatives, because I think all the food is pretty healthy, but alternatives for different, dietary, needs and things like that. So if they have not gone through the lunch line, maybe encourage them to go through just to see what's there. They'll have cheese sticks and pretzels and hard-boiled eggs, in a package. So again, there's a little bit of something for everyone.
Yeah.
And we're really excited about the smoothies because those are new, and Ms. Kay's doing a bang up job with the smoothies, and they are a hit. A hit.
They are. Small story about myself. I was stressing myself out making my son lunch. He's in 4th grade. You know, I'd make him lunch, trying to figure out what he's gonna eat, and then he wouldn't even eat it. And finally, I said, "You're gonna start eating lunch at school. I'm not going through this anymore." Now he loves lunch. He feels like a big kid going in there, and he can buy snacks and things like that. So it worked out in my favor and saved me some gray hairs on my head. I'm sure you can experience that too. Your kids can, you know, lunch is delicious. Save yourself some time, have them eat lunch at school. Okay, so that is pretty much everything that I have in regard to a few of these topics on the agenda. We can transition to Ms. Gordon and SAC and Vice Chair and Secretary roles, and then we can, of course, have a Q&A. You can ask questions about anything that we talked about tonight, or of course, things that we haven't discussed yet. We had a staff meeting today, and I thank staff for providing feedback to us, because the feedback that our staff provides to us, it really gives us the opportunity to fine tune our systems, sharpen our saw, and make school better. Same holds true for our staff, our families. So we really do value the feedback that you guys provide. It makes us a better school. And not saying that every time we're going to implement this feedback, but a lot of times we piecemeal things that we're getting from parents, and that ends up creating a new path for the school. So please reach out to us, if not tonight, in the future. Open door policy, and you know, your feedback helps us be a better school. So thank you. So Ms.
Right,
Gordon,
well,
yes, thank you. Sorry.
here I am. This is exciting because this is my 3rd year as the SAC chair, and this is the most we've had on the SAC meeting. So thank you everyone for coming. We definitely need some feedback on if the Zooms are easier to attend than in person. As much as we'd all like to be in person, I would like to get more people involved. So if the Zoom is the way to go, I am 100% all for it. So we can, you know, that can be a work in progress. And just on the agenda tonight, so you know, the SAC was developed. We're still in our infancy, I believe, at Rowlett Middle Academy versus the elementary school. However, I do think that we have enough interest now to really elect some other officers, minus myself. And so, you know, I got to give a shout out to Barbara, who's always been by my side. Woo, Barbara, and a couple others. So we are looking for a vice chair and also for a secretary. And as we had said on the board last week, the secretary doesn't necessarily mean that you have to take notes, because we have support from Erica Levy. So these are 2 roles that are really important. And I do have a son who's in 8th grade, and I will be moving on to high school next year. And I really, as part of a legacy, yes, I'm going to be I'm crying already. I never
So are we.
Rowlett. I wish that sometimes I wish that I had found out about Rowlett better in elementary school and have a legacy like Christy does, you know, with lots of years together. But these have been really awesome years for myself and my husband and my son. And so, you know, as part of like goals for this year, officers are definitely important. I really feel that we need to work on that. And unlike the Family Association, which is so important, I do think that the SAC is a really great place to start, where if you don't have a ton of time, it's not an every month commitment. It really is just a couple times a year, and it's just a little bit. So we definitely are open to speak about that. I can answer questions about that. I don't want to talk for a long period of time. But and then we are going to need a president and board elect at the end of this year. And I'd really love to start to think about getting that in place, because time is flying. I can't believe we're done with Q1 already. And then just some things about the SAC that are different a little bit than the Family Association and the fundraising and all the other fun things that we do. We're really here as a community to support Mr. Clark and Ms. Erickson and policies and procedures at the school. And it's just a little bit different. So, you know, that's why we're here. And it's a great way to communicate and get lots of really good parent and administration feedback working together, and faculty. So that's really where we're at. And we're almost normal. So that's what 2021 to me is.
Speak for yourself.
Normalcy and consistency. Those are my two big words for this year. We're like almost there. So between that and just being consistent, opening up the school for school lunch is hugely important, and for hero points and lunch with friends. And, those things seem small, but they're like really giant to our children and to the faculty and to the family. So, and keeping everybody safe with COVID. I know that's very big, but, we'd like to move forward because we have to live with it and have consistency. So, that's really where my goals are. And I do need everybody's help. So
if I can say, I feel like I've been talking way too much today. I'm surprised they haven't pulled me off stage yet. But I know in middle school, I've worked in middle school a long time. I know family dynamics change, right, in middle school. And I know there's some scaling back. I know sometimes families or moms or dads even choose to go back to work at this time. Kids that are a little bit older, things of that nature. And we do understand that volunteering looks different at the middle school level than it does in elementary. It looks different in high school than it does in middle school. So we fully understand that. But we do really need you. We really need your participation on campus. We need your feedback. Habit 8 is for our students, for our staff too. It's finding your voice. And same holds true for parents. And we're making decisions on campus, whether it's uniforms or other things, and we will lean on SAC or bounce things off of you or take suggestions for how we can just continue to improve and move forward. So we really do appreciate SAC, and we are hopeful that if both people that are here, but also friends of yours, because we would love for you to invite people the next time we have a SAC meeting. Maybe you twist their arm as well to participate.
Not to put anybody.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think Eric and I are on the same page. Not to put anybody on the spot, but if there's anybody who's interested in being an officer, we can definitely move that forward this evening, or if you want to think about it, and if we don't fill those roles now, we might consider having another SAC meeting soon, just specifically to talk about filling roles. And we can put it out there because I don't want to wait a couple months until that happens. But we can definitely do that.
And I think Zoom does afford us. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just saying, Zoom affords us the ability to, you're able to go home with your family and still connect and still be a part of what's taking place on campus. So I really do think what you said, Ms. Gordon, that Zoom really may be how we move forward. A lot of things from the COVID era that we will keep, and Zoom is one of them.
Yeah, then we can all celebrate like National Coffee Day and have caffeine late at night and still be able to Zoom. So
yeah, right. I'm sorry, I felt like I was talking where you were talking.
No, you're good. You're good. Is there anybody who has any questions right now about the role of SAC or anything that any of us can help with?
I'd be curious to see what exactly it would be. I'd throw my hat in the ring if I knew a little bit more about what was required.
Okay. And anybody can interrupt me at any time. It's a group effort. But, for a vice chair, right now we are, in the past we've met about 4 times a year, but I do think with Zoom, we can meet a few more times. And then the SAC is like Mr. Clark said, is the body that reviews, things like a uniform policy, if they need a change to the drop off or pickup loop, or if we're trying to decide if we're going to have more participation on campus this year, volunteerism, change policies like parent for lunch, things like that. This is the venue to have those conversations. And so being an officer would just be committed to being to the meetings. And like I said, the secretary role is just like an organizational role, checking minutes and, working with Erica, because we're lucky that we don't have to take minutes because they're done for us. And the vice chair is really to just be in association with me, to be a leadership in school, and work also with I feel like the SACs work very well with the Ballot Family Association as well.
And Elise, just to
Well-
add to that, for anybody that's like considering for this year, we are in kind of like, we're at the end of a term right now, I believe, is we run the same terms from the elementary and the middle. So the term that you're looking to fill, correct me if I'm wrong, is just for the remaining school year for this year. And then the vote for like new officers for a full term would not be till May, correct?
I'm gonna need some support from others on that one, so I don't answer it incorrectly, but I believe you are correct, but I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
Well, and we probably have some flexibility with how we do that, particularly in regards to the vice chair and secretary roles, because those roles were never filled at the middle schools because, again, it was more fledgling, getting things started. So, particularly with Elise having an 8th grader exiting, the goal of this conversation was to perhaps bring in a vice chair who's got a 6th or 7th grader, who could kind of become more familiar with the process of things, so that when Elise does depart next year, we've got someone who's not completely, deer in the headlights, I suppose is a better way to say it. But yeah, Elise's term would end, and then next year there would be the election. Could be the vice chair that moves into that role. It may not. I mean,
Right.
That's how elections go. So
I think that's kind of what I was trying to clarify. Maybe I wasn't
Okay.
clear on that, but just the clarification that not necessarily a vice chair that was filled now or in the near future would become the chair automatically because it is a voting year.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Good point.
So,
Well,
if you
would I
it's
be
on your
allowed
radar-
Am I allowed
Go ahead.
to serve on this committee?
I was thinking about that actually. Kat, I think, could be the secretary, but the challenge, because obviously Christy was vice chair and had to step into the role when there was a staff, Beth became a staff member. But the secretary role is not the same. It's not sitting on the board of directors. I'm not aware of any reason why a staff member couldn't be the secretary.
Yeah, and we can look more into it. Great question.
And Miss Erin Besaw was also happy to help. She's our vice chair also at the elementary school. So, again, that's the question. She's got children at both schools. I don't know that that's prohibitive.
Right.
The beauty of this whole thing is that even though we feel like the middle school has been there forever, we still are, like I said, in our infancy. So we can not create as we go, but just because we're in this opportunistic role and time in our development, we can put the roles into place and be more permanent with how they move forward. And so that's probably part of this year as well, because unfortunately last year and then half of the year before, we had developed SAC and then we couldn't really go as far as we wanted to just because of COVID. So even though, this is our 6th year, Mr. Clark?
This is our 5th year.
5th year, excuse me. We're still very, very new at the SAC development, and we want to create a really good, baseline to move forward.
Good point. The analogy we use on campus is we're building the airplane as we're flying it. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm taking your warm demanders to work tomorrow. Just
it's so needed, not just in education.
Thank you.
I'm using it at home too. So
I love it. I lead some people at my job, and I'm super excited that this is going to be the new thing. So thank you.
Well, good. So would there have to be? Go ahead.
Miss Weber just messaged a good point. If for some reason Elise and or Christy were not able to attend a board meeting, I guess Erin could step into that role on behalf of Christy. But if she was vice chair and they both weren't there, she could not step in. So it's highly unlikely, but it sounds like that could be an issue. So it sounds like maybe Erin will stick with her role as vice chair at the elementary school, but it may not be feasible for her to
Yeah.
serve both roles.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah. And I'm assuming sometimes, people need some time and they'll reach out. We just ask that you reach out to us. Sometimes the seed is planted, and we know with Rowlett, that we're kind of like-minded as Rowlett people. I know your brains are going even when you're laying down. So please be thinking about considering this, and we would love to have you as a part of not only SAC, but just being involved. We just want to continue to grow as parent involvement. We know, that parent involvement is the key to student success. And I always say that it's the secret ingredient to success at Rowlett. So we just want you more involved, and we want more people more involved. And that's how we continue to grow and move with this upward trajectory as a school community. So I just wanted to thank everybody for coming tonight, spending your Wednesday night with us. We're glad we can utilize this awesome technology, Zoom, and we hope to see you back at the next SAC meeting, and we hope that you bring a friend. And we're not closing out. Ms. Erickson has something she wants to add.
I believe Ms. Ingold has something to share, possibly.
I was just going to ask a quick question in regards to joining the SAC committee. How do we express interest? Do we just shoot you an email, or will you send something home? Because it would definitely be something I would be interested in participating in.
Excellent.
Well, I can jump in. Just by attending this meeting, you have become a voting member of the SAC committee for the 21-22 year. That is the one rule, is that you are a voting member by attending the first meeting of the year. So you've taken that first step. It sounds like we might table placing those vice chair and secretary positions just to give people time to mull things over. And so perhaps you'll come to us at the next meeting and say, I'd love to be vice chair. So, it's just, you're headed in the right direction.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, to everybody.
And I think we've captured everybody's information. Thank you for leaving your name so we can reach back out to you in the future. And in turn, reach out to us at school. Call, the ladies in the front office are really running the school. So if you call Miss Amy or Miss Beth in the front office, they'll have most answers. But Miss Erickson and I, we are also always available, open door policy.
Good evening. I just wanted to say hello and introduce myself, and thank you all for doing this meeting. My name's Emily Hartley. I definitely have a lot of excitement and passion. I'm a 6th grade mom, so I'm super happy to be here with Rowlett, and I'm so excited to work with you all. So just let me know what I can do to help, and I'd be happy to do any of the positions that you need.
Thank you, Ms. Hartley.
Yes, I can commit to 4 or more meetings, and Zoom is a great tool. I'm so happy that we have that.
Thank you. I was trying to listen while that cute picture. I was hard to focus, but thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, let me know. So just the next meeting is already posted, or?
I don't think we have, but we'll put something out. Ms. Erica does a good job about proactively putting or posting that information out on Blooms, but maybe we should put something out a little sooner. And I'm sure there'll be more people who'll be interested in joining the committee. We'll figure out a way to get more of this feedback, people who want to participate, and we'll come up with something. But thank you.
And if we did follow our typical, not that we have to, it would probably be our next meeting into January, like sometime after winter break.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Well, I look forward to getting to know everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Hartley.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Welcome.
Awesome.
Well, all right. It is almost 7:30. Right about an hour. And again, we thank you so much for not only just being a great support system for our kids and our student leaders on campus and our teachers, but for being here tonight and participating and helping to find your voice. So thank you. And we hope to see you, or we anticipate seeing you at the next RFA meeting and next SAC meeting, and at when you come and bring us Chick-fil-A at lunch to have lunch with your kids. But thank you very much, and have a great night.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.